Hello everybody and welcome back. As always, I am Mateo311 and this is your channel for everything VR related. Today, we are jumping into Star Wars Beyond Victory, a brand new pod racing experience that combines both mixed and virtual reality. Now originally, I was not planning to cover this game at all. I thought it was going to be a gimmicky mixed reality experience, a throwaway type of game, and not really worth my time. But I do jump into everything. And once I started playing this, I said, wait, I was really wrong. This is not what I expected, and I have to show this off to my community. So for those interested, I'll break down the general information, give you some of my first impressions, and of course show off plenty of gameplay. Now if I leave any questions unanswered, make sure to drop them in the comments and I'll do my best to get back to you. Star Wars Beyond Victory is available as of today exclusively on the Meta Quest 3 and 3S. Now, coming from Industrial Light and Magic, the same studio that gave us other Star Wars titles like Vader Immortal and Tales from the Galaxy's Edge, I should have really expected this deep, story-driven narrative, but for some reason I wasn't expecting it, but I'm glad to say it's here. This is a story-driven game. It comes with that same type of deep narrative, and this felt like the best storyline since Vader Immortal, possibly even better. I was really into the overall storyline in Vader Immortal, but for some reason Tales from the Galaxy's Edge failed to suck me in, but that was not the case here. Even though we're dealing with a lot of unknown characters in a small kind of niche sector of Star Wars, which is pod racing, I was still really sucked in, and the storyline immediately took some turns that I wasn't expecting. Now I'll come back to the storyline in just a minute, but I want to spend some time first discussing the switch between virtual and mixed reality. Now virtual reality is primarily used for cutscenes and doing some of the old school VR stuff like fixing up your pod racer. You know, the general screwing in some nuts or unscrewing bolts and soldering stuff and then putting bolts back on. Yeah, that's what you're doing in virtual reality. That and watching these really cool cutscenes unfold. When it gets to mixed reality, that's where the bulk of the gameplay actually is. And you're either controlling your character in third person, trying to find things around the world, interact with some people, or you're doing what you do most of the time and racing. Now the racing controls are pretty simple. There's a thrust, boost, and special ability, which is usually like a weapon or a defensive maneuver. There's tons of power-ups on the track to help repair your ship, keep your boost full, and even power up your special abilities. Overall, the races come down to staying on the road, trying not to slam into any obstacles, taking off-road shortcuts when necessary, and taking out your enemies before they take you down. And this is where I wonder why they went with mixed reality for the racing instead of virtual reality, because VR would have been a lot more immersive, but at the same time, I think it would have been too overwhelming for the average users. A lot of these Industrial Light and Magic titles serve as starter games for VR, going from Vader Immortal to Tales from the Galaxy's Edge, and now Beyond Victory, which is also our first introduction to a bigger mixed reality title. So I think this is part of Meta's back plan to push a little bit more mixed reality. However, I do think for new people, pod racing would have been overwhelming in VR, and this actually works really well. But believe it or not, the mixed reality racing is still quite immersive, and you could still definitely feel the speed. Now, another aspect that surprised me was the mixed reality third person mode. Overall, the game looks surprisingly good, and it made me really want some bigger, more robust mixed reality titles. I want the game world taking up my entire real life table, and something like that would be ideal for a real-time strategy title. Now, there's also 3 different gameplay modes here. We have the simple race, where you could just go in and do all the races from the game. You have the experience mode, which is your single player campaign, where you're going to get all these cool cutscenes in between the races. And then there's finally your sandbox mode, where you unlock things in the game, the models, different characters, stuff like that. You unlock them throughout the game, and then you could stylize your room with them. You can put a big giant robot in the corner. You could put tiny little robots on your table. This is a cool usage of mixed reality, but honestly, it made me want Meta to make all these little models as unlockable things for each game that you could add in your home environment. Like, I don't want to be locked into just having to load the game to share this sandbox type of cool space. I want to take those items out of the game and bring them into my Horizon world. So I'd love Meta to do that in the future. Otherwise, it just seems weird to load up a game just to, see a bunch of models in your room. They are fun to play with though. But obviously the real meat and potatoes comes from that campaign story mode, and this is the part of the game that really hooked me. So just to reiterate, this is not a little mixed reality experience. This is more of the storytelling that we've come to love and expect from Industrial Light and Magic. Now, without any spoilers, the game has you taking on the role of an aspiring pod racing champion. Now, unfortunately for you, some equipment failure puts you out of the running, which leads to you meeting some unsavory characters, including the now old Sebulba, who you may remember from the Phantom Menace. Now, to no one's surprise, after about 5 minutes of working with this crew, things quickly go off the rails and set you down one hell of an adventure. So overall, I think that's everything you need to know about this title, so I'll just show off a few gameplay clips for you guys.
So, you in?
Okay. But I only race. And no one gets hurt.
Oh, come on. Hurt someone. Although I'm insulted.
Who's ready to race? Dobra! That makes 2 of us. Or 1 of us. Yeah, whatever. The pilots are in their pod racers.
Hey! That smoke?
Sorna? Sorna!
Volo?
Oh, hey, can you come down here and give me a hand, please?
Hey, the power's off. I'm locked in, and
Yeah, I'm locked out.
The Gonk droid must be out of its power housing.
And that right there was today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you have any additional questions, please let me know down in the comments. And if you are picking up this game, don't forget to use code Mateo311 on the Meta Store to help support me and get 10% off on any game. And for any viewers here who aren't subscribed, please go ahead and click that button now and turn on notifications.
Okay, I'll be up in a few.
Who's ready to race? Dobra! That makes 2 of us. Or 1